Hi, my name is Shakila and I am here to present my group assignment on the standard costing and variance analysis, and my group members are Mohit, Ganesh and Jarisa. First, I will start with the introduction to the standard costing and variance analysis. Standard costing is about setting benchmarks and performance measurement. Now, how we set the benchmark standard costing involves establishing predetermined costs for the direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overheads. These standards serve as a crucial basis for evaluation of the operational performance and controlling the expenditures. Now, if we talk about the performance measurement, by comparing the actual cost incurred against these established standards, companies can gain insights into their efficiency and cost management effectiveness. This comparison forms the basis for the variance analysis. Now, variance analysis is a powerful tool that highlights deviations between the actual and standard costs. It helps management pinpoint areas of inefficiency, identify root causes of the cost overruns, and address critical control issues promptly. Now we will understand what is the purpose of variance analysis. It involves understanding deviations to critically analyze and understand the reasons why actual financial outcomes have diverged from the initial plans and the budgeted expectations. Then identifying favorable and unfavorable variances or trends to categorize and quantify variances as favorable, which is better than the expected or planned, and unfavorable, which is worse than planned, providing clear indicators of performance. Informed decision making to provide actionable insights that empower management to make informed decisions regarding the resource allocation, process improvement, and strategic adjustments. And it enhances the cost control to continuously improve cost control mechanisms and optimize operational efficiency, leading to sustainable profitability and competitive advantage. In this report, we have analyzed different key variances, which are direct labor rate variance, direct labor efficiency variance, direct material price variance, direct material quantity variance, sales price and volume variance, and variable overhead variance. These critical variances provide a comprehensive view of performance across various operational aspects, from labor and material to sales and overheads.
Now I'll continue the remaining presentation till slide 8. First of all, let's look at the direct labor variance. The company experienced an unfavorable labor rate variance. This means the actual cost of labor was higher than the expected. And the main reason for this was increased overtime payments, which were required due to the machine breakdown. And these breakdowns disrupted the normal production schedules and forced the company to rely on the overtime work, which increases the labor cost. And in terms of labor efficiency, the results were mixed across departments. The assembly department performed well, showing good efficiency. However, the PCB department and the refurbished and handling department showed noticeable inefficiencies. This indicated that while some area used labor effectively and others did improvement. Now let's discuss variable overhead variances. The company recorded a favorable spending variance, which means the indirect costs like such as utilities and support materials were kept below the budgeted levels. And this indicates the effective cost control and good management of variable overhead resources. And there was also a favorable efficiency variance. This shows that the labor hours were used efficiently relative to the output produced. In the other word, like the company was able to achieve more output without increasing the variable overhead cost. And together, these variable variances demonstrate strong internal control and efficient resource management, which positively contributed to overall profitability. Uh, Now, talking about sales variation, the sales price variation was zero, meaning the actual selling price matched the budgeted price exactly. which reflects a stable and well executed pricing strategy. And the company also achieved a favorable sales volume variance. Videotech Limited sold 2,200 units, exceeding the budgeted target for 2,000 units, which is the higher sales volume had a positive impact on revenue. And achieving a planned price while exceeding sales volume targets indicate strong market demand and effective sales and marketing strategy. And the remaining slide, my friend will continue.
Thank you, Ganesh. Hello, everyone. My name is Mohit Karki. So, this slide explains why the contribution margin ended up being unfavorable, even though sales volume was increased. So, in May, Videotech sold 2,200 units, which is 200 units more than the budgeted 2,000 units. Normally, selling more units should increase contribution margin, and in fact, this created a favorable sales volume variance. However, this positive effect was more than offset by unfavorable variable cost variance. The most significant issue came from direct labor and direct material. Labor costs increased mainly due to overtime payment, which were required because of machine breakdowns and idle time. At the same time, material cost time increased because faulty parts were rejected rather than reworked. As a result, even though sales performance was strong, higher production cost reduced profitability. Therefore, when we reconcile the contribution margin, the final outcome is an overall unfavorable variance of $21,580. Now let's move on to the next slide. So this slide talks about managerial behavior and conflict. This slide highlights how manager behavior and incentive system contribute to operational problems and internal conflict. One major issue was misaligned performance incentives. Production managers were rewarded for meeting their own department efficient target rather than for overall company performance. Because of this, managers in PCV and reading head department choose to reject faulty parts instead of reworking them. While this improved their reported efficiency, it created shortage for the assembly department, increasing pressure across the production process. In addition, the company introduced a just-in-time system which reduced inventory buffer. While just-in-time improves efficiency under stable conditions, it also means that any delay or breakdown immediately affects other department, increasing tension. So conflicts also arose between production manager and maintenance manager. Preventive maintenance was postponed to maximize short-term output, which lead to machine breakdowns, overtime, unsafe condition, and idle labor cost. Overall, the focus on short-term targets and individual performance measure encouraged dysfunctional behavior, reduced cooperation, and increase internal conflict. Let's move on to the next slide. The next slide is Robert Smith analysis or critical review. So in this slide, Robert Smith analysis of the unfavorable contribution margin is partly correct but incomplete. On the positive side, his analysis is technically valid for a variance accounting perspective. He correctly identifies higher material usage, increased labor cost, and the impact of machine downtime and overtime. However, the main limitation is that his analysis focus only on numeric variance and ignore the behavior and organizational cause behind them. He does not consider how the incentive system should encourage part rejection, how maintenance was postponed, or how department pressure create long-term risk, such as safety issue, major machine failure. In addition, the assembly department appears successfully based on efficiency numbers alone, but the analysis fails to highlight how their performance increase pressure and cost in other departments. As a result, robot partial analysis risk reinforcing dysfunctional behavior, increasing interdepartment conflict, and shifting blame rather than addressing root cause. A more complete evaluation will combine financial variance and behavioral and strategic analysis, allowing management to make better long term decisions. Thank you. Now, next, our friend will continue. Thank
Flexible budgets adapting to reality. A flexible budget adjusts expected costs and revenue based on actual levels of activity rather than relying on a single static plan. Unlike traditional budgets that assume everything goes as planned, flexible budgets recognize that reality changes, such as sales fluctuates, costs vary, and conditions shift. By recalculating budgeted amount using real output or usage levels, flexible budgets provide more accurate performance comparisons, separate volume effects from cost control issues, help managers make better and faster decisions, reduce the unfair blame that comes from unrealistic static targets. Flexible budgets adjust costs based on actual outputs levels, ensuring that budgeted figures reflect real operating conditions. This allows for a more realistic comparisons against actual results rather than judging performance against assumptions that may no longer apply. By doing so, flexible budgets highlight true efficiencies or inefficiencies by isolating volume impacts, helping managers distinguish between cost control issues and changes driven purely by activity levels. Activity-based costing or ABC. Precision in overheads. Activity-based costing allocates overheads costs to product or services based on activities that generate those costs, rather than using broad averages. By identifying cost drivers such as machine hours, setups, or inspections, ABC traces overheads more accurately to the sources of consumption. This approach improves cost accuracy by reducing cost distortion caused by traditional allocation methods, providing clearly insights into which activities adds value, supporting better pricing, product mix, and process improvement decisions. In essence, ABC brings precision to overhead costing by linking costs directly to activities, helping organizations understand where resources are truly being consumed. Activity-based costing allocates overheads more accurately to products or services by tracing costs through the activities that driven them. It enhances cost visibility by linking costs to specific activities, giving managers clearly insight into how resources are consumed. As a result, ABC supports informed pricing strategies and effective cost control initiatives, leading to a better strategic and operational decision. Strategic financial management key takeaways. Where traditional costing methods have their place, a forward-looking financial strategy demands a holistic approach that integrates advanced techniques with a deep understanding of organizational dynamics. First is standard costing role. Standard costing establishes predetermined cost benchmark for materials, labor, and overhead, which are then compared with actual costs to identify variances. These variances help management assess performance, control costs, and improve operational efficiency. By providing clear cost expectations and standard costing, facilitates budgeting and planning, supports performance evaluation through variance analysis, highlights area requiring corrective actions. In overall, standard costing plays a key role in cost control by translating operational activity into measurable financial standards. Coordination and incentives. Coordination and incentives are essential for long-term success and for mitigating negative outcomes as they align individual behavior with organizational goals, encourage cooperation across departments, and promote sustained performance rather than short-term optimization. Dysfunctional behavior risk. Dysfunctional behavior risk purely designed management accounting system can inadvertently encourage adverse actions, such as short-term focus, data manipulation, or behavior that optimizes reported results at the expense of overall organizational performance. And lastly, flexible budgeting advantage. Flexible budgeting adjusts budgeted figures to actual activity levels, enabling more accurate performance evaluation by removing the effects of volume changes. It allows managers to focus on true cost control, operational efficiency, and informed decision making. Flexible budgeting advantage. Flexible budgeting improves decision relevance by reflecting actual operational volumes, enabling more meaningful performance evaluation and better informed managerial decisions.